I'm Lamel Firestone Palerm, and I'm a parishioner here at St. Jude's. And I want to talk a little bit about our Day of Remembrance altar, Day of the Dead altar. And this is something that is traditional in Mexico and has been for a very long time, since before colonization happened. And so there are a few things that I wanted to point out and to talk about, because we're going to be doing this together. And so all of us are going to be joining in and bringing items here. And I'm just going to explain some of the things that I've put here so that you have a bit of an understanding. This is a pumpkin altar that I made several years ago because I wanted to celebrate and remember those in my family who had passed away, those who were important to me. And so I created a pumpkin altar with 4 different levels and different symbols that represented the different loved ones that I wanted to have present here, as well as some beloved pets that had passed. In Mexico, this is a very playful kind of activity as well, so there are toys, as well as if we are remembering young ones who have passed, we might have items that were special to them. And so it can be playful as well. So for something else that is here that I wanted to point out are the skulls and the characters that are made out of these. These are Posada characters, and there's one in particular that's famous, known as La Catrina. She was the first one, and so she had high cheekbones and high society kind of dress, and so you might notice that there are some items here that represent that. This came into being around the turn of the century, when Jose Guadalupe Posada became known for his scathing cartoon drawings that pointed out reforms and changes that needed to happen in Mexico at that time. So political figures were drawn in this way, and so that is a part of the culture there. And so you will often see on altars these characters, but that are representing people in everyday life. Because in Mexican culture, there is a sense of honoring the dead and also having them be a part of our lives and honoring them in this particular way for the 1st and 2nd of November. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why 4. In the Aztec tradition, this was very important for the number 4, for the 4 seasons, for the directions, so north, south, east, and west, and for the stages of life: birth, childhood, adult life, and old age. Also for the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, and wind. And so you will find here on this altar various different things that represent those elements. And sometimes you will see different stages of, for instance, corn in its various different stages. So those can show up as well. Other things that show up, and you might see in my altar that I have chosen here to represent, are things like a frog, which represents twilight of each day, money, which represents wealth, and sort of how we want to send off the dead. That's a part of other cultures as well. Mirrors that show that our life has duality, or 2 sides. And of course we have the marigolds, which are very traditional for an altar, campasuchi in Mexico, and the color and the time of the flowers that come out at this time of year is one of the reasons why this is here. You will also, as we participate in this together, it's my understanding that our youth and children are going to be decorating sugar skulls. And so sugar skulls will end up here as well. And so that's an important part of this as well. So there's a lot of symbolism here, and for representing different parts of the altar. There's going to be some incense here, which represents wind, and candles representing fire, and other pieces that are a part here. This altar is under construction. There are some things that are arriving that I'm going to decorate the window with, and so those are coming. If you have a favorite saint that you would like to have represented at this altar, then you can bring a picture of them, and I'll have a way to mount some of those. We'll have the Virgen de Guadalupe here, as well as St. Jude's, a representation of St. Jude's, and Mary Magdalene. But anyone else that you would want to have represented here that is a part of our or your meaning around remembering the dead and those who have been important in our lives in one way or another. So when you come for November 3rd, it's the 3rd, that we will be celebrating here on Sunday. So come ready with some remembrances from loved ones that you would like to have here on the altar. We will have cards so that you can write a name, and those cards can be here as well. But if you want to remember a loved one who had a particular hobby and you want to bring something that represents that, you are welcome to do that here as well. So this will be our Day of the Dead altar. As I said, it's under construction, so please join in here. That is what is part of making the meaning here together, is remembering who we are as a community in the past, now, and going on into the future.